Welcome to Deep Run Farm. I'm Jack Jagoda, and this is my partner, Dr. Phyllis Giroux.
We're working with PetSafe to develop new products and training methods to help your dog be all that he can be. So you've decided to get a new hunting companion. In this video, we will show you how to locate a good breeder and what you, as the educated consumer, should look for.
Purchasing a good gun dog pup is an investment and is a commitment that you will live with for the next 10 to 15 years. We want to help you make the best decision you can. We'll tell you how to find a good breeder, look for the necessary health and genetic requirements, decide if a particular litter is good for you, and how to select a puppy from that litter.
To find a good breeder, you must do a little research. Today, most of us go to the internet, the ready source of all types of information. Working Retriever Central is a pretty good website for any retrieving or flushing breed.
Check with your hunting buddies. If they have dogs they like, ask where they got them. Many times, clerks at the local hunting supply store will know of good breeders. Remember, though, there is no reason to limit your search to your local area. With the internet and relative ease of shipping puppies, you should look for the best breeder you can find, regardless of location. Attend some hunt and field tests. Ask people where they got their dogs. Look for dogs that you think are pleasing in appearance and performance. Make a note of those bloodlines and look for them in the pedigree of your new puppy.
Once you have a few websites or phone numbers, start your research. Read the websites carefully. Are there lots of photos? Call the owners and talk to them. If any of these kennels are local, ask if you can visit. Most breeders are proud of their dogs, their facility, and their puppies. They will encourage you to visit.
While there are no guarantees, you can stack the odds in your favor by getting a puppy bred to be a good hunting dog. You can determine if this is the case by looking at pedigrees. We look for field titles: Field Champion, Amateur Field Champion, Master Hunter, Master Hunting Retriever, or Hunting Retriever Champion. The more titles in a pedigree, especially in the first 3 generations, the better. A pup from that type of breeding will have a high concentration of genes that make good field performance part of what comes naturally.
The sire should definitely be titled at the highest level in which he competes. The farther back in the pedigree the title occurs, the more dilute the blood is. Titles past the 2nd generation are of significantly less importance. It is wonderful if the female is titled as well. If she is not, her sire and dam should be titled. Ask if the female is in training or is hunted.
It is important to know that confirmation titles, like CH, denoting champion, by themselves have nothing to do with working ability. Obedience, agility, and tracking titles give some insight into trainability and athletic ability, but may not tell us much about the natural abilities to locate and retrieve birds.
Has the breeder done this particular breeding before? How did the pups turn out? What does the breeder know about offspring of this particular sire and dam? Ask the breeder how he decides which dogs to breed together. Is it based solely on performance, on genetics, on personality? Ask about their breeding program and their goals.
It is the breeder's responsibility to provide you with a well-bred, healthy, and genetically sound puppy. The other important issue about the puppy's parents are their genetic qualifications. Those are the ratings that say how physically sound the dogs are. The joints of a dog are responsible for his ability to seek and retrieve game. Working a dog with bad hips or elbows is like trying to drive a car with a flat tire.
Hip dysplasia is less than 50% inherited. Other factors are diet, environment, and supplements. While we always recommend buying a puppy from parents certified OFA good or excellent, or with pen hip scores in the top 30th percentile, this in itself does not guarantee that your puppy will have good hips or elbows.
You must accept responsibility yourself to feed the puppy an appropriate diet. Keep the pup lean and use supplements to enhance good joint health.
The Orthopedic Foundation for Animals, the OFA, is a panel of veterinarians at the University of Missouri who will review x-rays of hips and elbows to see if they show signs of degenerative joint disease. Once the animal reaches 2 years of age, they can receive a permanent certification. Pen hip is a slightly different method for evaluating good hip structure. It compares hips of dogs from a given breed to other members of the same breed and ranks them within the breed. Regardless of the method used, dogs used for breeding stock should only be the best examples of healthy joints, such as OFA excellent or good, or PIN hip scores in the top 30% of the population. There are 3 types of hereditary conditions that can affect elbow joints. They are all classified together as elbow dysplasia. The OFA will also evaluate elbows and determine the elbows to be free of all disease or affected. Elbow disease can be more crippling than hip disease, so ask about elbow certifications. It may not be as much of an issue in some breeds, but it certainly is in all the retriever breeds. Many hereditary eye diseases can affect the various hunting breeds as well. Some of these diseases have their onset later in life, so a dog may have performed well or completed titles as a youngster, but that would not prevent him from developing eye disease later in life. Eye exams for certification must be performed by a board-certified veterinary ophthalmologist, then reported to the Canine Eye Registry Foundation, known as CERF. These exams should be repeated each year for all animals in a breeding program. Each breed of gun dog will have certain other issues specific to the breed itself. Ask the prospective breeder what these are for his breed and see if he shows a good knowledge of the breed's problems. His response should be compared to the research you have done on your own through books and discussions with others. Ask the breeder what he does to avoid or prevent these problems in his breeding program.
Don't be shy. Remember, it's okay to ask to see the hip, elbow, and eye certifications on the parents of your prospective puppy. At this time, you should have a pretty good idea if this breeder is breeding the sort of dog that would make a good gun dog for you. If this is the first breeder to whom you have spoken or examined their literature or website, contact 1 or 2 more to determine which one you feel the most comfortable with. You should also ask if the breeders train and campaign their dogs. Without the knowledge and experience that comes from working with dogs, an individual cannot know what works and doesn't work for a good field dog. Ask if you can watch the dogs work. If a breeder uses professional trainers, that is also acceptable. At least they are trying to prove the products of their breeding program. You may want to talk to the trainer and get more information about the training aspects of that particular breeder's line of dogs.
Responsible breeders will ask you questions about yourself, your provisions for caring for and housing the dog, and your plans for training, whether hunting or competition. They will ask whether you intend to breed the puppy. These questions are motivated by a desire to place each puppy in the home for which he or she is best suited.
Breeders who willingly accept you as a puppy buyer without asking questions are usually just trying to sell you puppies.
All ethical breeders will not only be willing, but require that a puppy come back to them if the puppy should prove unsuitable for any reason, either now or in the future.
All pups should come with a reasonable guarantee for health and hereditary defects, whether by refund or replacement. You should now ask about the health care the mother and the newborn puppies will receive. All adult dogs in the breeder's kennel should be healthy and current with all preventative health care.
What are moms fed? Any supplements? How much exercise do they get? There are different opinions about the best health care available, and whether your breeder of choice chooses traditional health care or some of the newer holistic approaches, the breeder should be able to supply you with the name and phone number of their veterinarian who can be contacted for a reference. Most working dogs will have their dew claws removed by a veterinarian shortly after birth. Certain breeds will have tails docked as well. This is usually done by a licensed veterinarian.
You should feel comfortable asking about the worming and vaccination schedule for the puppies. We recommend worming at least twice before the puppy leaves the breeder and having the first set of vaccinations and a complete physical exam.
This exam should include listening to the heart, looking in the eyes, ears, and mouth, checking all joints for normal conformation and mobility, presence of any hernias, growth, or other deformity, and a presence of both testicles if a male. You should also expect to receive a complete record of all care given to your puppy prior to you receiving it, along with some recommendations for food and future veterinary care.
Puppies should be born in the house or in a very sanitary environment where they can be monitored and kept clean.
For the first 2 to 3 weeks, the puppies will mainly eat and sleep. A good breeder will spend time several times daily with the puppies, picking them up, holding them, talking to them, making loud and varying noises, and placing the puppies on different surfaces to get them used to the fact that their life will not always be spent in the whelping box. Their eyes and ears will open at 14 days of age, and they will start seeing and hearing after that. A variety of sights and sounds are important, and learning while still safe in the whelping box with littermates that sometimes there are loud noises, bright lights, and different smells, but they are not necessarily threatening or bad.
Around this time, the puppies will start getting up on their feet and walking, attempting to play with their littermates, and place toys in with them so they can begin interacting with their environment.
At 4 to 6 weeks of age, the puppies really start to develop. We start feeding a meal or two a day at this age, leaving mom away in the day and allowing her to return at night. By the time the pups are 6 weeks old, they are completely weaned, eating 3 meals a day of puppy food. Weaning is very stressful for the puppies, and it should be completed well before the puppy goes to his new home. Pups should be exposed to various surfaces such as grass, asphalt, gravel, dirt, linoleum, and carpeting. Learning to navigate well with many different types of traction, and learning to negotiate obstacles such as sticks, logs, hills, ramps, stairs, and stools is important. The more a puppy uses his body in different circumstances, the more confident he feels in new situations.
We still use mobiles in the puppy pen and use flags and overhead objects to accustom the pups to looking up and searching the sky as they would for birds. Many different noises, loud, sudden, and soft, music, voices, distant gunshots, or blank pistols.
Puppies are introduced to crate training, first with 1 or 2 littermates and eventually on their own. Starting out with a littermate provides some security, and eventually the puppy happily accepts the crate as a den and resting area. While puppies are learning about being crated, they can start to travel in a vehicle. We place the crate in a car and take them for a short drive. Let them out to play, then load them up again. This way they learn that travel in new places are fun.
Pups are introduced to birds at about 5 weeks. We use wing-clip pigeons initially with the pups in a group. Individual puppy testing comes later. Pups are given many types of toys to pick up and carry around. Some make noise, some are cloth, such as fleece, some are slick, some are rubber, plastic, or wood. We cut long strips of fleece to encourage puppies to pick them up and play tug-of-war with each other.
Weather permitting, they are introduced to the water. Of course, the puppies have swimming pools in their areas from the time they are 5 weeks old. But we also start bringing them down to the pond and wearing tall boots or waders, wading in the water with them. Each puppy is identified. We shave a little place on each pup and individually worked each day. A soft collar and leash are put on the puppy and basic obedience is introduced. Attention, sit, heel, and come are lessons that can be introduced at this age. All puppies can start retrieving now, and this is the best time to start. Your breeder should make notes of each puppy and his unique personality during this time. These notes will help him decide which pups of the litter are field trial, gun dog, or pet dogs.
Because a good breeder spends so much time with the pups, you should trust his decision to give you the puppy that best suits your needs. If this is your first pup, you don't need that independent, high-energy pup. But if you're an experienced trainer and field trialer, that may be just the pup for you. Most good breeders have plenty of people who are anxious for a pet from their breeding stock. It is usually not difficult to determine which pups are best suited to a more leisurely life.
In our puppy program, we feel that puppies really start to show their personalities between 7 and 8 weeks of age. That is why we keep our puppies until they are 8 weeks old and generally make selections during that final week they are with us.
Your new pup should come with information on type and amount of food he has been receiving and the feeding schedule.
He should also come with at least a 3-generation pedigree provided by the breeder. Information on the parents is also valuable, such as copies of their AKC registrations, applicable certifications, and title certificates. The AKC registration application papers may or may not be available at the time you pick up your puppy, but should be available within a month of getting him.
You should ask for a written copy of the guarantee on your pup and be sure you understand any special conditions that may apply. Your breeder should encourage you to call with questions or problems you may have, either right after you're taking your puppy home or at any time in the puppy's life.
Your puppy's breeder should be a part of the family for the life of your pet.